Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. It is Friday, August the 19th, 2022. Hip-hop star and actor JaRule has thrown his hat into the NFT ring in a big way, and he's putting his money where his mouth is, making it work for HBCUs. We talk with JaRule about his latest venture and why he believes it's a game changer for African Americans. Also, the Sounds of Blackness has a new single and a new project. Two integral members of the group joins us as well. But first, a couple of headlines to start your Friday. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the chief medical advisor to President Joe Biden, is encouraging Black Americans to get the updated booster when it becomes available as the country endures a summer surge and as COVID-19 racial disparities persist 2.5 years into the pandemic. Fauci, who is also the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said, unfortunately, Black Americans continue to experience disproportionate shares of COVID-19 infection rates, severe health outcomes, and deaths compared with white Americans. Two factors that contribute to this disparity, according to Dr. Fauci, are exposure because of the type of jobs generally occupied by Black Americans and underlying health conditions that become more severe when exposed to COVID-19. So Dr. Fauci is advising the booster shots for African Americans. Also this morning, the Washington Informer is reporting that NBA great Michael Jordan's Jordan Brand and Howard University are launching a 20-year partnership, which will have an official debut at Howard's Game Zero on August the 27th, when the school unveils the new football uniforms. The iconic Jumpman logo will be part of the attire for all the university's sports teams, except for golfers who have a separate deal with Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry for equipment and apparel. The new agreement, according to the Jordan Brand, is an exciting opportunity to build upon the legacy and influence of the learning institution dubbed the Mecca. The Jordan Brand announcement celebrating the connection praised Howard as one of the most esteemed historically Black colleges and universities. They explained that this partnership with Howard is not only an investment in the organization, it is an investment in Black futures inspired by basketball culture. Now turning our attention to our guests. First, we sat down with two of the esteemed members of the Sounds of Blackness, Gary Hines and Carrie Harrington, who shared their latest single and project, Hold Up the Light. Let's take a look at the Sounds of Blackness. As we get that ready for you and bring on Carrie Harrington and Gary Hines, you'll be quite pleased, we believe, what they had to say. They're also partnering with the School of the Arts. It's a really good partnership, an exciting partnership that they have undertaken to put out this new song. And now we'll take you to the Sounds of Blackness. Side stuff going on here.
We do.
That's okay. We get it. We got our own thing too.
Right.
You should hear some of the words my producer calls me. So let's talk about the Sounds of Blackness. Y'all got together, I understand, in college?
Well, what you need to know, my brother, is we were blessed just last year to celebrate our 50th anniversary. And when I say we, I mean Sounds of Blackness as an organization. I've been blessed to be director that whole time, but currently we really have Sounds of Blackness next generation almost. A number of current members are actually offspring of original members. And we have some of our veteran members and our singers and band as well. But they're keeping the tradition alive.
Yeah, and you know, you guys have not been pigeonholed into just one genre, which is almost unheard of. How have you been able to avoid that?
By diligently being consistent about letting people know that we are serious about our name, Sounds of Blackness. We couldn't call ourselves Sounds of Blackness if we only did hip hop, if we only did
Right.
soul, if we only did gospel. Many times we're mislabeled as a gospel group. Now, that's not offensive or anything, because obviously gospel is a big part of our repertoire, but it's incomplete without the blues, the jazz, the spirituals, the African music, every sound of blackness. And we got that template from the late, great Duke Ellington, which surprises a lot of people when I say that, because we hear Duke's name and we think of jazz, as we should. But Duke also wrote and recorded spirituals, African music, work song, blues, gospel, every sound of blackness.
Yeah, and Carrie, when we think of Sounds of Blackness, folks think about all of the different members, all the different parts of Sounds of Blackness. Do you ever get lost? Feel like you're gonna get lost in all of that?
In the members, no, because we are basically like just one big crazy family. So I think I just speaking for myself, for me, it really it motivates me, because to see all that talent, to be around all that talent, it makes you want to do more, and it makes you want to work harder. So for me, um it's a plus, it's a positive to be around so many people and so many talented people. I mean, think about it in your life. The people that you want to be around in your life are not the negative people, or the people who really don't want to, try to do anything. You want to be around people who are going to motivate you constantly. So it's the same with being in the Sounds. You have this big group of people who are all motivated to sing, all motivated to write, just that is, that's a plus for me.
Yeah. Now you guys have been affiliated or working with the High School of Recording Arts for about a decade now. Tell us about that. How did that come about?
I have to give props to the former director of a local station here, KMOJ, Brother Kelvin Quarles, and the director of High School for Recording Arts, our dear brother T.C. Ellis, who used to be a rapper for Prince. So it's all in the Minneapolis Sound family. But TC and I, for years, talked about, Sounds of Blackness and HSRA need to be affiliated. We need to collaborate. And lo and behold, Brother Kelvin Quarles, who I just mentioned, got a grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board to put us together. And I'll never forget, they called me into the meeting at HSRA, and they said, you know what? We need to do a song together. And right when they spoke those words, and to Carrie, I remember this clearly, the word royalty just started coming to my mind. Royalty, royalty, royalty. Wow. And so we were up a couple of days and nights writing that song. Carrie not only is a gifted writer, but she's also our choreographer. So she put that together. But Royalty was our first project together, and the students helped to on the song, the recording, the video. They're in the video. When we were blessed with 2 Image Award nominations against Beyonce, who ultimately won our division or our category. But they traveled to LA with us to the Image Award. So it's an ongoing relationship that we're very honored to be a part of.
You mentioned TC. TC famously on the song "My Name Is Prince" threw some shade at a certain king. He says you have to be a prince before you're a king. So
yes,
and back then everyone read into that as shade to Michael Jackson, although Prince never said that.
Right, exactly.
But TC was something else. Is something else, I should say.
Yes,
well,
he is.
Yeah.
a signature theme of all your previous releases has been positivity and healing, and so "Hold Up Your Light" definitely falls into that category. Tell us a little bit more about "Hold Up Your Light."
Well, you're right. I mean, it's a theme of positivity. It's a theme of strength and endurance. I just thought when I was writing it, I mean, we were in the midst of COVID, just political, just mayhem, just all of the, it was George Floyd, all of just everything that was going on in everybody's lives. I mean, we've all been through a lot and are still going through a lot. So I thought, I just wanted to write a song just saying, whatever you're going through, we still got to keep going. We still gotta, just keep moving and keep our spirits, because sometimes, in the song I say, sometimes, life can break our spirits, and sometimes it does. But you have to continue to keep going, because we all have that strength. And sometimes when you're in the worst situation, that's when that strength comes out and you don't know you have it. But that's when your strength comes out. And I wanted to say all of those things in a song just to give people some type of, hope and something that would touch their soul. Because, like I said, so much is going on right now, so many things. And I mean, yeah, COVID, and now we have monkeypox. It's like, oh my gosh, what next? So yeah, I really, really wanted to just put out something that said, hey, we got a lot going on, but we still got to keep going. You got that strength, just, remember that you have that strength.
Yeah,
So,
it's about resiliency, right?
absolutely.
And really, look, Sounds of Blackness, 50 years, right? You talk
Mhm.
about resiliency. It has to
Yeah.
resiliency, right, Gary?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So talk to us about the journey of Sounds of Blackness a little bit, Gary. As you mentioned, 50 years. That's a long time on anybody's calendar, right?
Yeah.
And especially for a group. I mean, obviously, groups. You look at the Temptations and Four Tops and you guys and other groups that's been around, and there's been change in personnel, but you still go forward. Talk about the journey.
Well, the journey began, my brother, at my alma mater, Macalester College, which is really right down the road from where Carrie went to high school at St. Paul. And it was 1969, actually, when the college embarked on a very ambitious program to recruit students of color called EEO, Expanded Educational Opportunity. And they were successful with that. And the students themselves organized a number of different activities, one of which was this 50-voice choir called the Macalester College Black Voices, under the direction of our emeritus founder, Brother Russell Knight, a native of Beaumont, Texas. Well, in January of 71, and I remember like it was yesterday, he asked me on as director as he was getting ready to graduate soon. And I was very honored to do that because they were very excellent back then, for that matter. But again, the vision that the good Lord gave me was to follow in the path of Duke Ellington, with being a musical and cultural speaking voice of Black America, from Africa to America, every sound of blackness. And again, as I said earlier, that's the origin of the name. But we began at Macalester College under the tutelage. When Carrie was talking about Stokely, Stokely's great father, Professor Mahmoud El Kadi, was a professor on the campus at the time, and always has been a community father, and is a worldwide, world-renowned historian, African and African American history. His guidance to this day, and he still guides us, has been actually very instrumental in Sounds of Blackness direction.
Yeah, and you've been able to, as we said already, your message seems to always be positive. You think about the songs: optimistic, hold on, I believe, everything's gonna be all right, I'm going all the way. Was that a part of the original plan, just to be uplifting, to be positive?
The answer is yes, and I'll explain the and very quickly, because when we in the past 5 years, our songs have been more along the protest line and social justice and consciousness. Everything from royalty to Black Lives Matter to Sick and Tired, when George Floyd was murdered 5 blocks from where we rehearse. Sick and Time for Reparations last year, and then Juneteenth celebration earlier this year. So it's been that to radio, that was an aberration for us, because they were used to optimistic, and I believe in the titles that you just said. But to answer your question, my brother, actually, no, Sounds of Blackness began, our roots are in protest music and the move. So we've always been about the movement and justice. We just do it from the standpoint of positivity and inspiration, as Carrie was saying.
Yeah, it's a reminder, as you said, 1969. You think about not many artists were engaged in as you say, protest songs or anything about the movement. I mean, there was Marvin Gaye, right? What's going
Right.
on, and how much of an inspiration? Or maybe Marvin got some inspiration from you guys. How much of an inspiration did you get from Marvin?
Tons of inspiration from Marvin, and I love at the time that, especially the top soul artists at the time, always they had their party music, but they always had their social consciousness music. James Brown had the Cold Sweat, but he also had Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Yeah.
I Don't Want Nobody to Give Me Nothing. Open Up the Door, I'll Get It Myself. Aretha had Dr.
Aretha,
Feelgood, but
right.
he also had To Be Young, Gifted, and Black, which people thought Respect was her theme song, but having talked to her many times, she said no. Young, Gifted, and Black is my theme song. And so we got that consciousness from them, and we always give them those props and pay homage to them.
Yeah, and talk about you mentioned Minneapolis, and obviously you can't mention Minneapolis without Prince, but you also can't mention Minneapolis without Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You guys have worked with them as well. Talk about that experience.
Carrie?
Oh wow! I mean, what can I say? I mean, they're just. I mean, just to have that opportunity to work with them, they are just the most amazing, gifted. Just down to earth, funny. I mean, it was a wonderful journey working with Jimmy and Terry. They taught us so much. They have given the world so much great music. They've helped put our music out there and put us, out there on the map. I just, it was just an amazing, amazing time working
So
with them.
what touch, Gary, Carrie? What touch do they bring? Because they make hit after hit. It's something that they're bringing into that studio that perhaps other producers are just not bringing. What might that be?
Heart and soul, heart and soul. And I've been blessed to, as Carrie has, sitting on many interviews with them, and so I've heard them say this firsthand. Many times they would be asked the question, well, you guys have worked with all the top names and artists around the world. What is your criteria for choosing whom you work with? And their answer would always surprise people. They would say, we look for a good heart.
Yep.
And people say, like, good heart. Yeah, and what they were saying with that is, of course, at that level of music, the talent's going to be there. So the talent's not the question. But the question is, what is the heart and soul and the spirit of the person like? What are they going to bring? Positive vibes for you? There we are with positivity again. Are they going to bring that to the studio? And I'll close by saying this, speaking of positivity and the Jam Lewis connection, and Carrie has heard this as well. They've said, my brother, countless times in countless interviews, their Hall of Fame induction, you mentioned, when they're asked what's their favorite song that they did, they always say Optimistic, Sounds of Blackness.
Wow, isn't that something? And they've done a ton.
A ton.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you about going to the same school as Prince. What kind of buzz was that? It must have been a buzz after he went there, before he went. I mean, what was the buzz like?
I'll try to condense it. The buzz was huge. Like I said, I was a senior when he was just starting, a senior in high school, when he was just starting in junior high, literally down the street at Bryant, which is now Sabathani Community Center. So everything comes full circle kind of thing. But not only did we hear rumors about this guy who was a monster on every instrument that you could name, but also was an amazing athlete. Now, people think that's just like made up or something, but no, Prince was an all-city basketball player. And listen, Bryant, and then when he went to Minneapolis Central, those are really basketball schools. Carrie could tell you, really competitive with her school, St. Paul Central. So to even make the team, you had to really be able to hoop. And I'll tell you this, a funny quick story. One of Prince's favorite things to do out at Paisley, he always kept a hoop out there. And of course, actors and athletes would come and visit Paisley, kind of thing. And one of his favorite things to do when they would visit, especially when the athletes would visit, he would say, "You want to do a little one-on-one?" and they would laugh, thinking, because they didn't know. They were like, "Yeah, right," kind of thing. And he would take them to the hole.
Wow. Did you guys call him Skipper?
Yeah, Skipper.
I did not.
Yeah. All the way back, yeah, TC definitely still calls him Skipper, or refers to him as Skipper. And I would call him Maestro or P, and a little quirk of his, we had known each other, and it still seemed unreal that he's not with us for over 40 years. But even with that length of time and midnight conversations, sometimes 2-3 hours, he would still, when he would speak with you, say your full name. Well, Gary Hines, I have this idea for Sounds of Blackness. Gary Hines. Well, Gary Hines, what do you think about this? And but one of quirks, but just an amazing human being and a musical genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's go back to the new single, Hold Up Your Light. There's a lot to that. What was the thought process going in, and when can we? Where can we? Not when, but where can folks get the single?
I'll let Gary answer that. But as far as the thought process going into the song, again, it was just all about what was happening in everybody's lives, what was happening at the time, the COVID, protesting, police brutality.
And Carrie, who does most of the writing here?
I do a lot of it, but we're blessed with a cadre of great writers, starting with Carrie, who wrote and produced "Hold Up Your Light," and our
that's where I was going, Gary.
Yeah, and our assistant director, Billy Steele, is featured on the lead vocals with Carrie on "Hold Up Your Light." Yeah, but she's written a masterpiece.
Yeah, and Jamesia Bennett.
Oh, Missy, yeah,
who is Ann's daughter.
Right.
She has a single coming out.
That's right. We should talk about a song called "You're Gonna Win." It's really like musically an homage to Optimistic. And then further down the road toward the end of the year, we've got one coming out called "So Thankful." So we're flooding the market with singles and letting everybody know Sounds of Blackness has never stopped doing what we do, and we're not about to.
Any concerts on the horizon?
Actually, yes. We will be going to Columbus, Ohio on August 20th to do a live show and simultaneously film Gospel Superfest. So you can look for that on cable, I believe BET, but there'll be a live audience as well. Of course, we have some things locally here, but then we're also looking to go to Atlanta on Halloween weekend. That's like October 30th. We'll be performing at the Fox Theater for the premiere of the film It Ain't Over. That's sponsored by St. Jude's and Bishop Shields. So a lot on the horizon for Sounds, these singles. And of course, you can see the video for Hold Up Your Light on YouTube. Oh, and I can answer the other part of your question as I come to a close in terms of where to get it. Well, Hold Up Your Light is available everywhere. All formats, you name it, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. And you can go to soundsofblackness.org, our website, purchase it there along with our merchandise. And when anybody does that, we want you to know we don't just talk the walk, we walk the talk. And so we donate a portion of our proceeds to the George Floyd Scholarship Foundation.
Oh, wow. Nice. Now, whose idea was that?
I don't know, some guy that
No, that is awesome. Like as you said, it's one thing to talk the talk, but it's another thing to actually, as they say, put your money where your mouth is. That's what a cause. Last thoughts this morning from both of you, and I'll start with Carrie. Carrie, for the newcomers to the Sounds of Blackness, as far as the new audience, I should say, to the Sounds of Blackness, what message would you want them to take away from, if they walked away with one thing about Sounds of Blackness, what would that be for you?
I think it would have to be one word. I would have to say positivity. Positivity.
Okay. And Carrie, will this song be a club favorite like your past music?
Club favorite? I could see that happening if there were some remixes done.
Mhm.
So anybody out there who can do remixes,
Watch for the remix,
let me
y'all.
know. Yeah.
Gary, Sounds of
Whatever,
Blackness.
call me girl
Yeah.
or boy. Yes.
So for 50 years, it's been your life, Gary.
Yes.
You got fans from, far back as 1969. You got fans, from 1980s, 1990s, and now the newer generation. What's your message to the newer generation?
Our message, first and foremost, is that Sounds of Blackness, we've been blessed and ordained by God to utilize the music of the African American experience to motivate and inspire people of all backgrounds. So it's about that connection. It's about that God connection. It's about our human connection as humanity, as the family of humanity. It's about justice, social and otherwise. That Sounds of Blackness stands for all of those things, and inspiration as personified by our current single and brand new Hold Up Your Light.
Soundsofblackness.org. Go there for their merchandise, for the song. You can go to any outlet for the song as well. Like, as he said, Spotify, Apple, etc., etc. Y'all know where to go to get this, and go get it, because it's also helping a very, very worthy cause. It's such a privilege to have Carrie Harrington and Gary Hines from Sounds of Blackness. Thanks so much for joining the Black Press of America's Let It Be Known. Thank you. What fun we had with Gary Hines and Carrie Harrington. Hope you enjoyed it too. We also got a chance to sit down with hip hop icon and actor JaRule, who discussed why he has joined the ranks of celebrities embracing NFTs with a collection called Black is Beautiful. JaRule, along with his business partner Herb Rice, said they would donate $25,000 from initial sales of the collection to HBCUs, including Jackson State, Morgan State, and Hampton University, Spelman College, and Morehouse College. The hip hop star's entertainment company Icon Media also will match an additional $25,000. Let's hear what JaRule has to say. Well, the Black Press is so happy to have you to talk about this topic of NFTs and what it means to Black America, what it's doing. Many say it's a game changer. First, tell us, about your foray into NFTs and the impetus behind it.
Well, I mean, I got in NFTs about a year ago through NBA Top Shot. I'm a avid card collector, and this was the natural progression to collecting trading cards was NBA Top Shot, the digital trading cards basically, but they're like moments. And so, I got into that and was collecting those, and then kind of went down a rabbit hole and started looking into NFT art. And a friend of mine, Drew Austin, he put me on to OpenSea, and I started purchasing NFTs, and the rest is kind of history. A lot of things unfolded from there.
So the burning question among many who don't know a whole lot about it, and even some who know about NFTs, how exactly does one make money with NFTs?
Well, I mean, it's real simple. You buy something, it's like buying a piece of art or anything else, and you sell it to the next person who would like to buy it. It's really simple. That's if you're buying and trading NFTs. But you can also create your own NFT, like an NFT project, like a generative project or a one-on-one project, like we've been able to do with Nick Davis and through the Painted House. So there's many ways that you can make money with NFTs, but those are the best two, the top two probably.
Yeah, and we know owning your own catalog and music is vital, right? And here in the
Yeah.
digital space, can you speak to how this is about digital artists receiving royalties on their own work? Because in NFTs, there's only one owner, whereas in stocks and even Bitcoin, there are
Right.
multiple owners.
Yeah. Well, that's the beautiful thing about NFTs. That's what really drew me to NFTs, the ownership factor. Artists get to own their work and get paid on their too. And that's the biggest thing for me about NFTs. It's the biggest draw. Artists, painting artists that paint, they rarely get compensated for their work beyond the first sale of it. Once they have the initial sale, that's it. It gets sold again. They don't get a piece of that. Through NFTs, all of the art, all of everything that's purchased, everything that's sold is on the blockchain, and so you're able to track every transaction that goes on through the blockchain. So if I buy a piece of art and I sell it to this next person, you know who it's been sold to, how much it's been sold for, and you're able to take a royalty off of every sale. And so that is a dream come true to artists, trust me. And then on the music side, even for artists that are doing NFTs as music, being able to own your own masters and own your publishing and own all of your rights to your music and put it out as an NFT and be able to collect on that forever and ever is also a big plus for artists. So a
Yeah,
lot to look forward to when it comes to NFTs.
yeah, along those. It is a lot to look forward to. We have so much more with JaRule. If you go to the Let It Be Known YouTube page, you'll be able to see the full interview with JaRule as he talks more about NFTs, HBCUs, what he's doing there, his new music that's coming out, and other new projects. JaRule is just not limited to hip hop. He is also an accomplished actor as well. So go to YouTube's Let It Be Known page to see the full interview with JaRule. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. We hope you have a happy and safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.